Giants are bad. We're a bad football team. You go out and you play against the Saints, who you could argue is a Pee-wee football team at this point. We're a bad team.
Hey football fans, welcome to the Bengal and the Goliath, a show in which we look forward to creating from scratch. We were curious if we could run this channel from nothing into something by just using basic equipment at the start.
Plan to bring you sports news, bold predictions, and the best stories from all around the sports world.
Make sure to stay tuned as we continue to grow this channel, and we would love any support you're willing to give.
As always, go Giants.
Go Bengals. Yeah, every week we plan to do a couple segments. One of our favorite segments, or one of the beginning segments, will be the Jungle and the Meadow, in which we recap Bengals news, Giants news, and we talk about, strengths, weaknesses, good stuff that happened, bad stuff that happened, and yeah. So we'll start with the Bengals. I'll go ahead and start with my stuff. We played the Lions this week. It wasn't a great game. They looked bad. The defense played like shit, but then again, defense is not great. The score reflects that the game was closer than it should have been. In reality, Goff and the Lions looked great kind of throughout the whole game, and the Bengals really didn't perform well until the end after halftime. Browning did look a little bit better, but a lot of the plays were made by Jamar Chase, and his 2 touchdowns really brought us back into this game and made it look a lot closer than it actually was. Like I said, Browning finally remembered Chase was actually on the field, which was a good thing. Browning threw 3 picks. You can't expect to win a football game when you throw 3 picks typically. The third pick that he threw was utterly embarrassing. It was fucking terrible. He threw it into triple coverage. It was underthrown, and it was late. You can watch Mike Gesicki run the route, and the ball is just way behind him. There's 3 people there. He throws it. I can't even remember who picked it off. Maybe the linebacker, whoever it was. Jake Browning's a pumpkin, and he's awful. And I don't want to watch Bengals football when he's playing. The only bright spot that I have to talk about with the Bengals in that matchup was probably just Andre Yoshivas. He had 82 receiving yards on 5 catches, which was impressive. He'd kind of been dormant the first couple weeks. They've been using Mitchell Tinsley a little bit more than they were using him. So it was nice to see that they actually gave Yoshivas the ball a little bit. It was nice to see them spread the ball around. Some strengths. Joe Flacco was traded to the Bengals yesterday, so he's not much of an improvement from Jake Browning, but it's definitely an improvement, at least in my eyes. Joe Flacco's a really he's an easy guy to root for. He's a big fan favorite. So I'm excited to just have him and just see a change of scenery. I know he throws a lot of picks too, and he goes for the check down, but with our offense, it's really not going to be like he's coming in and changing the scheme of things, I don't think. If anything, I think he could mix it up in a good way. I hope his leadership kind of influences Zach Taylor to stop being such an idiot and maybe running some plays that would actually push the ball down the field. Something just like that shows that the Bengals actually want to try and win a football game, because recently they really haven't looked like they want to do that at all. And I do think it's kind of cool that he's coming in after he beat the Packers, and it's like, could he do it again? Probably not, but there's a chance. Some weaknesses I wanted to talk about. It's very clear that every defense knows the plays the Bengals are about to run. It feels like we walk out there and it's just check down, check down, check down. A little dump off to a tight end on a screen pass, and then it's run up the middle on 3rd and 15 because Zach Taylor gives up. It's frustrating to go into weeks and play teams that I feel like they're just one step ahead of us, and I don't know what needs to change, but my guess is Zach Taylor needs to be done, at least play calling. I would prefer we get a new head coach, but you know how the Bengals are, old organization. They're probably not going to do that. If you like checkdowns, watch the Bengals game, because it probably happens 2 times every single series, if not more. Zach Taylor's play calling is probably some of the worst I've ever seen. I cannot believe that the Bengals came out and stated that they're ready for him to continue being play caller this week. I just wonder if they're watching a different game than I'm watching, because it's annoying and it sucks. But yeah, a lot of things to improve upon, but there's some good things. I'm just really excited about this Flacco era. It could be nothing, and Flacco could absolutely get his brain scrambled behind that offensive line. But it's like I said, it's better. It's a change of scenery, and I was so done watching the Bengals every single week, and I'm a little bit happy now that they got him. Yeah, next opponent, we got the Packers, 4:25 Eastern time on Sunday. I'm a little nervous. Obviously, I don't feel great. The Packers are a great team. I don't really see us having a chance to win. I know lines on DraftKings right now are Packers minus 14, which is that's pretty bad, but that's probably pretty close. I'm excited to watch again for Flacco. I genuinely did not have much hope to watching any more Bengals games this year, and that trade kind of lit a fire under me. That's only the third in-season trade the Bengals have made since the Super Bowl era. They made a trade in 2020 for Carlos. They sent Carlos Dunlap to the Seahawks. They got Khalil Herbert last year from the Bears, and now Joe Flacco midseason. So, I mean, it shows that they're doing something, but is he the fix to all the issues? Clearly not, but, I'm excited. Any thoughts to add for the Bengals?
I'll get into this, but I have seen a worse play caller than Zach Taylor. And that's Mike Kafka. So he doesn't have it the worst. I think Flacco's going to be good. I think Flacco's going to come in, bring some juice that Jake Browning didn't have. Like you said, Jake Browning went out there and everyone knew what he was going to do. He was going to throw a couple picks. He was going to throw it down the field, but it was just going to be check down. So we'll see if Joe Flacco can bring anything new to that and just be maybe a new era, a new chapter in the season for the Bengals.
Man, I hope so. But that's my recap for the Bengals. I'm going to go ahead and pass it along.
What's up, guys? It's the Meadow side of things coming from the Goliath. Giants are bad. We're a bad football team. You go out and you play against the Saints, who you could argue is a Pee-wee football team at this point. We're a bad team. We know that. I think everyone had maybe a point in time where we're like, oh, maybe the Giants are a little fun. No, we're not fun. We're bad. It sucks and it hurts, but that is what it is. Cam Scatterbo, he looks good. He might only last 2 years before he has to retire from the league, but those 2 years will be good. And then Jackson Dart, I thought Jackson Dart did improve. If he didn't have Mike Kafka drawing up flea flickers on 2nd and 2, maybe that would, be a better play call for him. Better play caller would help Jackson Dart look a lot better. But I thought he improved. Thought he looked a little bit better. His presence in the pocket is felt. I think he moves very well for a young guy. I think he's getting the feel for how our offense will run, even though his receivers coming up this week will be Wan'Dale Robinson, Bo Collins, Jalen Hyatt, and Gunnar Olszewski. So you can't really expect much out of a rookie quarterback with a mid-tier offensive line and those wide receivers. Speaking of bad play callers like Zach Taylor, Mike Kafka. Mike Kafka is when a basketball player just sits there and pump fake as a joke. That's what he does when he tries to get cute with play calls. It just looks stupid, it's pointless, and it fools nobody, ever. Never gets anyone. Worst of all is his red zone play calling. This week, he actually did look okay with red zone play calling. He just makes silly decisions. You have a first and 2 inches, and we decided to do play action passes instead of running the ball just 4 times with arguably a top 5 short yardage back in the league right now with Cam Scatterbo. So Mike Kafka is very frustrating, but I do think while I know we scored 14 points, I think this might have been his best week calling plays. Maybe the Cowboys, but the Cowboys defense is just atrocious. So I would say this could be his best week, even though it was very pitiful. Shane Bowman is the worst coordinator in the league. I think if I had to pick one person to get rid of the Giants, it'd be Deontay Banks or Shane Bowman. I feel like he doesn't care when he plays, calls defensive plays. We sit in cover 1 or cover 2. We don't really make anything, hard to dissect. We don't have, disguises. We don't run blitzes. We let the best defensive line in the league, we allow them to get double teamed. We'll put Brian Burns out there with just Abdul Carter, and then Brian Burns can get double teamed. We don't ever send 5. That way we can get one-on-ones with Kayvon, Brian Burns, Abdul. None of that ever happens. And the only time it does, we get pressures and we get sacks and we look good. I'll give a little bit of grace because our cornerbacks have been pretty pitiful. Having to play Deontay Banks and Tyler Nubin makes it hard to run man defense. But when you put 2/3 of your salary cap into your defensive line, you just have to go with what's your strength. You have to just try to get those pressures. You have to try to get sacks, and you can't just sit back in these soft zones, let people run through Deontay Banks and Paulson to Debo, and then they get 15-yard plays off of little dump offs. It's just not fun to watch, and it sucks. Kafka and Bowman are Dumb and Dumber. That is my take on our coordinators. I think if you watch them, you think it's funny, from a bystander. You think they're funny. You think they're really cute
and it's funny to watch them do their job. But if you like are related to them or know them in any way, you wouldn't ever want to be seen with them. And that's why I think Dumber and Dumber is just like they should go as that for Halloween this year. They should dress up, and I think that'd be hilarious. I do think like offensively, 2 tight end stuff is looks a lot better this week. Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger both got some work. I think on third down is mainly when we saw the 2 tight end stuff, a little bit in the red zone. So good job, Kafka, for noticing that was a good thing. And I think when we had 2 tight end sets on third down, I think we were 4 for 5. So 2 tight end sets is what's going to work, and that could, be where it gets us push farther and, better in the season. I'm cool with 2 tight end stuff with Malik and Slayton out and Wandell more of a dump off zone guy. So that's my take on the Giants. We have the Eagles tomorrow night. I'm not excited. I'm actually dreading it. I hate primetime football because it's not just Giants fans and whoever we're playing, it's Giants fans and then the entire world, and I have to just sit there and watch everyone watch my team suck. I'm not excited for next week. Got any thoughts on the Giants? You watched them?
I can't defend the Giants for losing to a team like the Saints. I've kind of gave him some shit about it for about it's been a couple days now. That's kind of embarrassing. But they beat themselves. It wasn't like the Saints beat them. The Giants had 5 turnovers. So, when you fumble the ball 3 times and throw 2 picks, no team's usually going to win that game unless, I don't even know. But, I think the Giants will be okay. Jackson Dart looks fun to watch. Scottabo's fun to watch if their coordinators can screw their heads on and figure out how to play calls and, try. I think the Giants could be a frisky and fun team, as Big Cat from Barstool would say. But yeah. Thanks for watching the Bengal and Goliath. We look forward to bringing you more recaps soon. Hopefully our teams will pull out and get a victory. I don't think either of us are expecting that with these upcoming games, but, we can hope for the best. But we will recap soon, and we'll be back next week.